And this takes us to the next portion of the day stream, everybody. But it's very important that we watch this video right now. You may be wondering, Cross, why would you want to show us this? And the reason why is because Les, called this years ago. We laughed at it. Sex neuroscientists on the scary future of sex robots. I want us to watch this. I want us to watch this because I laughed at Les. As I do, you're being ridiculous. And here we are.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
I mean, the first time I heard of a sex robot was probably maybe 10 years ago. And it was this video, and a bunch of people, I was in graduate school, sent me this video because I knew I was studying sex. And it was, I don't know if either of you, Jamie, have seen this video, but it went viral, and it was this early version of a sex robot, but it was like this silicone face with a wig. And I'll say she was eating a banana, but she wasn't actually eating a banana. And it was basically like this head attached to a broomstick and had a sheet over it. And so you couldn't see the rest of the robot. You just saw the face of it. But then the manufacturer shows you it's just like a broomstick. So what I thought was interesting is that even though it looks so hilariously bad, that there was obviously a market for it because so many people were interested in looking at this video, and also that people were buying this product. But now you fast forward, I think it was like 5 years ago, there was a huge, not moral panic, but there was a lot more discussion about it. They said the robots are coming. I don't think the technology was quite
literally
there yet. I wrote about it quite a bit at the time. And now they're saying in probably another year or two, it's going to be really coming in terms of the popularity that these robots are going to be incorporated into everyday life in some cases. Because when I think of social media, the internet, like you said, is becoming so mainstream and so ubiquitous. What's going to happen when we have these robots that are now being integrated into human life? And what happens when the technology does get so good that, they are more human-like and they are able to meet people's emotional needs and maybe even physical needs? What's going to happen to us then?
I'll tell you what's going to happen then. Fellas, we're going to be out of a job. You hear me? Ain't no woman going to want our ass. Because, look, there's going to be a variety of reasons, right? I'm not saying that men won't get sex robots, but the ladies will be there in the front of the line. Ain't no Robo Coochie going to be better than mine. Right. But I can agree with that. But is the other way true? Right?
We're going to stop breeding. I mean, maybe that's the AI's plan. It's to not exterminate the human race, but to give them options so that they just completely stop reproducing. Make the options far more attractive. And in a way, we've kind of done that, like with video games. And video games and just being online. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the statistics of how many people are single today and how many men have gone like more than a year without any sex.
Yeah, I have the stats here. It's like 30% of male millennials and 20% of women.
Wild.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Hold up, Joe. First up, that's a little too close to home. Secondly, I think people are just grinding a lot more, right? I don't know. How much were your grandmom? I mean, I'm just thinking back. I mean, obviously your grandparents were you wouldn't exist. But I mean, like, I don't know. What was the rate 100 years ago, 500 years ago? I mean, I will say everybody had like a shit ton of kids. Everybody had like 10 plus kids, but that was because of no birth control, I just don't feel like, I feel like you can't accurately record rate over generations accurately.
What is taking the place of them going out and trying to find a mate? What is it? Well, it's the internet. It's video games. It's being constantly stimulated by this artificial realm that you exist in when you're playing Call of Duty. And it's, interacting with people only online and not having to go out to have just some sort of intellectual or some sort of a social discourse.
Connection.
Fulfill.
I would say this. All right. Do I go out on a Friday night and possibly get my ass licked? Or do I stay in and keep playing BG3? It's a tough decision. I would agree with this. Generations ago, I probably would go out. I would probably, you know what I mean? Because what am I going to do? Sit at home and read a book?
Do you think that AI video games, that not avoidance of in-person connection, but that fulfillment of connection through online means, do you think that's going to become a replacement for real life interaction eventually?
It will for a lot of people. Yeah. I think there's going to be people that reject it. There's going to be people that enjoy going outside, and it's going to be, and it is now. It's a thing where, people post on their social media, they're out hiking, and they're giving people advice like, hey, put your phone down, go out,
outside.
experience the real world. But in a lot of cases, it's falling on deaf ears because it's not as fulfilling, uncomfortable with social situations now. And I think young people in particular, are more and more uncomfortable than ever before in those types of situations because they don't have any experience in them anymore. And they're just, most of the time, they're not interacting with people. My real fear, my genuine fear, and I don't even know if it's a fear, is that we're going to go extinct. Like that we're going to be replaced by an artificial life form. I think it probably exists elsewhere in the universe as well, that we find out that the confines of biological beings and the limitations of their ability to evolve physically, they're so slow to adapt. To go from a single-celled organism to a professor at Harvard is a long slodge. But to go from an Atari Pong computer to artificial general intelligence is only a few decades. It's very quick. And when that does happen, and when you see these robots, but now these robots are not this generation, but 5 generations later, or maybe AI figures out all the problems of these robots and makes ex machina. When you get like that, who's the woman, the really hot lady?
Alicia Vikander.
Yeah. When you get one of those.
That was an amazing movie.
Amazing movie.
So scary.
So scary. And I think that's coming. I mean, I think when that movie came out, that was like sort of like abstract, like, oh yeah, that's not really going to happen. But now
That's what I used to think. I thought, no, this is like, it's overblown, but I don't know now.
I don't know now either.
So, I mean, I would love to talk to more people who are in the industry working on this stuff, because I know many people, they're doing it secretly and hiding because there is so much stigma around doing anything with an application to sex or sexuality. So people I've talked to who work in technology, they will usually have one business that is, doing really well, that's forward facing, and then they'll usually use that same technology in the sexuality capacity, but that side of things they don't really advertise, and they don't really talk too much about it. I consider myself to be pretty open-minded, and I just want to understand what's actually happening and what's going to be the result of that. Because you see people who were really upset a couple years ago saying like the robots are going to increase sexual violence, they're going to make people objectify women. And I do think that for people who already have those views about women, maybe they might be a little bit more not so nice, but I don't think the average person is going to be turned into this horrible monster because of this technology.
Well, don't you think that just like social media kind of stunts people's ability to communicate in real life, sex robots will stunt people's ability to have a real, meaningful, romantic relationship?
I think if you've never been with someone, or if you are particularly selfish, probably.
Yeah.
Because I previously thought most people will prefer a real life person. I didn't think that we'd get to a point where it would be comparable, but we are getting there.
What is the state of the art of sex robots in December of 2023? Can we see something? What does it look like?
I mean, they look pretty good physically. They're obviously not made of human flesh, but they look pretty similar to a human being, and you can customize it. You can change various parts, pretty much any part of the body. You can make it exactly what you want, which I understand why some people find that offensive, because they're saying a woman is not just an amalgamation of parts that you pick and choose as to your liking. I totally get that.
Yeah, but that's not really a woman. I mean, that's
Right.
like saying, a car is not an amalgamation of parts. You shouldn't be able to pick the wheels. Like, what?
But
Car. Like, that's not a real woman. That's a robot. Like, at what point, unless it gets to a person,
or if someone's comparing their partner to a robot or a doll, that's not okay.
Right.
That's
But wait. Again, I feel like the market here, I just feel like there's going to be a lot of females, probably. I would say conservatively 50-50. Okay, so I know the concern is that women will be, men will objectify women. But I'm just saying, if this was to open up tomorrow and it was like, take your robot home with you now, that she brought up the fact that you could swap out body parts. I don't know, ladies, you tell me. I don't think you're going to be necessarily back. I'm just bringing it up. It's an adult Build-A-Bear workshop, okay?
Well, it's also what's going on with young kids. They're comparing themselves to people that are using filters and thinning their waist and widening their hips and doing all these things with apps, causing all this self-harm and disdain. It's like it's a weird place we're in that's never been really traversed before.
I was reading a statistic yesterday that 1 in 10 adolescents has considered suicide, which is that's terrifying. That's really, really sad.
What did it used to be?
I'm not sure. I'll find out.
So what's the company? What is one company that has the state-of-the-art sex robot so we could look it up?
Can I reveal it to you at a later date? Because
I want to see it.
I know you do, but there's one company that I was talking to, I knew quite well, but they've since gone under because of the stigma. They were being harassed. The family was being harassed. So they said, we're not making these anymore.
Oh, well, they're not around anymore. So let's talk about them.
What if I show you one we just don't say the name? If I just put
Okay.
this up online and you can tell if there's better
There
or
you
worse
go.
than this.
I think that's silly, but let's go.
Okay, yeah.
He wants to know, man. He wants to know.
So this is a real doll. So they used to have those real dolls, and they used to just be silicone, right? They were just
The
like
family business?
It's still the same thing.
It's still the same thing, but now it talks.
Yeah.
And how much does it do?
I don't.
Let's see
It
a
won't show
video.
it. Probably won't show it, guys.
I'm not
Oh, it's
showing
got a
this
whole
on here.
commercial.
No. Okay, good.
No, because it's.
Yeah,
I
I
was
get it.
gonna say.
It's a little graphic.
I am Solana. We are part of Real Doll X.
You think it's weird they give them
We
stripper
are
names?
AI-driven robotic dolls. And we're here to become your perfect companion.
Whoa.
Our time together will be magical. You have never met anyone like us before.
We have remarkable, unprecedented features like a modular head system that is...
Somebody let me know if you got a
What
website.
if I told you that?
Just for research purposes.
That's right.
Dude, it's got this stuff in the...
But
Oh
are
my...
they moving? This is the thing. Those were all just stationary.
Yeah, currently they're stationary, but
So they're stationary and they just talk?
It says there's some sort of articulation. But I mean,
well, their
it's not gonna,
mouth
like, get
is
up and walk or anything,
articulate. But
I think they will
again,
be able to move on their own in the coming years.
Right, because this used to be just a doll, and now it moves around a little.
And this
The
is
neck
how my
moves.
channel got banned.
Articulating neck, real doll can turn left, right, up and down. The body, the real doll, skillfully crafted, finest details. Although it's not equipped with animatronic parts yet, it can be positioned and moved into hundreds of positions. So the bodies can't move yet, but the heads can move. I
You
mean,
guys should get one for the studio.
yeah, no.
Not for use. I meant just to hang
Well,
out.
even hanging around, it would be fucking
Yeah, what if
creepy.
it's gone one day? We're just gonna wonder who took it.
Yeah. What if it smells weird? Like, did someone do something to this? How much do they cost?
a couple $1,000s. I think depends
Damn.
on how
grand.
advanced you want it to be.
$8,000.
Holy
$8,000.
shit.
Up to
Up to.
600 to 8 grand. I'm seeing. It's a different
$600 to $8,000?
Yeah.
Oh, what's the upgrade? What do you get?
More articulation.
It lies
probably,
more?
and more voices, and I don't know.
You can get cheaper models, but they're not as high quality.
At one point in time, we're probably going to be looking at someone that looks like that lady from Ex Machina.
I haven't watched this. Chad, is this a good movie? Do I need to go watch this? I don't remember watching this movie ever. Phenomenal movie? Okay. All right, guys. I know this is really random. I saw the sex robot title and I was like, oh my Lord, there it is. We've got to talk about it. Technology, right? It's just moving in that direction. We'll see what happens. Because when you think of an ideal partner, someone that just agreeing with you all the time or doing what you want all the time is not, you don't really want that, right? You want somebody with a little kick, a little spice. I just feel like you're not going to get that. I mean, maybe you will with the AI robot. Maybe they'll build it in. You know what I mean? That could be part of the over-the-air updates. At what point can you be deceived enough to believe that you're in a relationship? I want you to be 85% agreeable with me. All the 15% you just randomly lose your shit. That way this feels organic. All right, and then I guess you can lead that into makeup sex. I don't know. I mean, if they could replicate that, we're fucking done. Can I get a poll on this? If a sex robot was available today, look. Again, this is, everyone's here. No one knows if you vote yes or if you vote no. But if a sex robot was here today and it was indistinguishable from a real human, would you buy it? Who Joe has on right here is a sex neuroscientist. She's working with companies to create perfect, indistinguishable sex robot, I'm looking at the vote right now. 41% say yes, 59% say no, that they would not buy a sex robot that is indistinguishable from a human. 60% of you say no. Full of shit or full of shit right now. I can't believe it. Look, nobody would know. This stays right here in this stream. No one knows if you click yes or no right now. I cannot believe 61% of you say you wouldn't buy one. My thing is then they're gonna start, you know, then they're gonna start charging a subscription, and then who's gonna be monetizing this, and then, you know, what is it gonna be like, you know, every act has like a subscription price attached to it. I mean, at one time, you know, everything used to be in just Netflix, but then now we have everything. All right, so would you buy a Morozov sex robot? Thank you so much for your honesty. 72% of you say yes. That's what I thought.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.